Okay, so I'm gonna do a little intro here, Nan. Thank you. Thank you for being here. For anyone that has not joined the Unfixed, Uncut journey yet, we are kind of, and I just said the word journey, and Nan hates that word. So we're going to talk about that. I mean, not Nan, sorry, Eileen.
That's okay. That's okay. Journey is fine. I
So,
know. It's like, man, hates it too. That's weird. Yeah.
actually, a lot of people hate the word journey, especially in the chronic illness community.
The
But
medical,
yeah. So
realm.
we're here to talk about the not fixing, the untidy arcs, the stories in our lives that we tried really hard to wrap up in a nice neat bow, and they just didn't want to fit in a box. And eventually we found out that maybe being in a box isn't so awesome anyway. And that there are places that we can experience our lives through the mess that end up surprising us with a humor and with love and with community that maybe we never had before. So the question that I ask in this season 3 Unfixed podcast is there something in your life that you couldn't fix that is now saving you? Or let's not be so dramatic, maybe just conveniently better than you thought it was going to be. So we have the lovely Eileen Dougharty with us today. And I used the word salty before, and I'm going to use it again because you are salty and you are funny as fuck. And I'm sorry for swearing.
Don't be sorry.
So, and I also would call you a firebrand. And I love that term. And I didn't even, and then I had to look it up because I was like, what does that actually mean? And it's not meaning you're a log of wood on fire, but you are
Sometimes I am a
someone,
log of wood. Please continue.
but you are someone that is on fire with creativity, with your stance on life, your position of how you choose to live it, the things that you advocate for. So I do believe you have turned, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've turned a career as a writer, a comedy writer, into a real creative rebellion at full volume. And you're skewering stigma. You are reveling in the wild joy of being an older, disabled badass. And you're reminding us that happiness can be the loudest act of defiance. And I mean happiness not in the like, oh God, everything's so beautiful all the time, but that real deep happiness. So I'm going to shut up. Eileen,
Wow, I want
welcome.
to keep you around all the time. I want you to do my PR just 24/7. Just like I need the Kimberly Warner alarm clock next to me going, hi, wake up. It's going to be okay. You're a firebrand.
Oh my God, I should start like a little unfixed alarm clock app that people can use, and I can like make it bespoke so that everyone has their own little wake up call in the morning with what I love about them.
Oh, I think that's got some mad possibility.
Cool.
Well, thank
So,
you.
Eileen, where does your mind go when I ask this question of something that you really wanted to fix that you couldn't, and that you're kind of glad that you couldn't?
Well, um, I'm not gonna say I'm glad I have Parkinson's because that would be a lie.
Right.
But I will say that the journey, that I've been on, has really changed my life where I am far more content with who I am and that I don't get upset over small things. That the to be I mean, I kind of feel like Andy Dufresne in The Shawshank Redemption where, like just, swimming through a river of shit to come out clean on the other side. Um, but I really, really love, that my life has ceased to revolve around small things, has ceased to revolve around trivial ideas. I mean, once you know, take 200 pills a day and just, just are so afraid. I mean, I went through a period before having recent brain surgery, that helped me immeasurably, but that I was afraid to do everything. I
Mhm.
mean, to even leave my house because my body was so unpredictable. Um, so when you go through that, you really don't care whether Trader Joe's no longer carries ketchup flavored potato chips. I mean, the small things are completely out the window. And actually most things are small things. Even if you think they're big things, they're not. I mean, I don't care about finding a cool boyfriend. I don't care about what I'm wearing outside the house. I don't care about deodorant. I don't care. I mean, there are very few things that are really, really important. And I think that this really made me focus and luxuriate in the things that are good and are sound and are nourishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wrote in one of your essays, which, by the way, if you haven't reached Eileen's newsletter yet, please go because you will laugh, you will cry, you will do all of the things. One of them you wrote about a friend that was diagnosed with cancer, and you started thinking about like bucket lists and that whole idea. And for her, it was all of a sudden like, I'm going to make every moment count. And it's different with chronic illness because you don't necessarily have a terminal diagnosis, but you have a degenerative diagnosis.
Yes.
So tell me, so is that similar for you where you kind of like got down and wrote up the bucket list, or was it a little more subtle than that?
A little more subtle. I mean, initially when I got diagnosed in 2018, and then I immediately got on carbidopa, levodopa, which is kind of the gold standard of, Parkinson's meds. And obviously, I mean, it turned things around. I was able to be fairly normal for quite some time. And then, you know, since it is a degenerative disease, then I had to take more pills and at different times. And it really got to be really such an unmanageable situation, that I just decided that I didn't want to be part of the world anymore. And
Mhm.
trigger warning, I'm going to talk about suicide. But the suicidal ideation that I had, I try to be really responsible about it. I talked to people in Switzerland that have a legal way. I had friends that were willing to go and, talk to the Swiss police and take me home in an urn and all that stuff, which
Yeah.
those are good friends, by the way.
Yeah.
Um, but once I, started looking into DBS as, an alternative, and it's not for everyone that has Parkinson's. You have to be fully vetted. It takes about 6 or 8 months to do that.
And
Be
DBS, just for those that don't know, it's
Oh,
deep brain stimulation.
yes, yes, thank you. Um, and, that changed everything, and you know
Mhm.
what? I have such a terrible memory problem that I don't even remember how I started this question, but how to answer your question.
It's
Um
okay because I have a terrible memory too, and I don't remember either.
That's
But
but yeah, I mean, it really made me realize the support level that I have and
Mhm.
what I needed to change and fix, or like not to use the word
Yeah.
fix because it's not
Mhm.
fixable, but the yo, we were talking about bucket list. Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm feeling like in all reasonable guesstimates that the surgery will afford me like 5 to 10 good years.
Mhm.
So I'm making assumptions based on that guesstimate.
Yeah. And
So,
you it seems like okay, so I'll disclose to mom, sorry if you're listening, but my mom was just diagnosed with Parkinson's.
yeah, you
So,
mentioned that.
yeah, so she's, in the earlier stages, but we're, on the medication and all of that. But she's 81. And so not and she's 81. And so her life had already been sort of slowing down. You were in the middle of writing and doing, comedy writing. Were you even doing stand up yourself or how?
I did take a class and I did do a little bit of it. I decided it wasn't for me, but I did
Yeah.
definitely dabble. Chicago's a good place for stand up and for improv and all kinds of things. I mean,
Hmm.
it's a very funny city.
We used to go to Second City. I lived up north of you in Wisconsin, and we would go down to the Second City, and who knows? mean, this was in the 80s, so who knows what SNL celebs were just beginning when I was watching them on stage. But it is a city of comedy, and you still carry that in your words today. I mean, it's as if you even said when the electrodes um, came on board, and after you had decided you weren't going to go to Switzerland, and by the way, you said you can't be cremated because the electrodes would blow up. Is that right?
Right? Yes, that is true.
For real?
Gotta live. Yeah, no, I guess they have to be taken out if you are going to be cremated. So,
Wow. Oh, okay.
I know. But way to go
Well,
out with a bang. I guess they
wait.
so that's kinda
Exactly.
cool. I mean,
On your
if I were
headstone, it would
some
say she went out with a bang.
yeah, sometimes.
But you said your dark jokes came back as if something went with that deep brain stimulation. A part of you came back on board. Am I right to say that?
Yeah,
Or is that
oh, I have always been salty, hard shell, gooey, creamy middle, so I'm very sensitive and very mushy inside, but, I have always been a very dark-humored Irish girl. I mean, I
Hmm.
always make jokes that people are like, "Really? Is that okay?" And I'm like, "Well, it's out there now. I said what I said, and I'm not taking it back." You know, and that's another thing, is just living with people who don't care what kind of dark humor you have. They don't I'm tired of trying to please other people and to write for other people and to, I've always just written for myself and whoever else enjoys it, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about the people that I had a piece go fairly viral last year at some point, and a lot of people asked me, like, "Oh, you'd be a good writer if you didn't use the F word so much." And I'm like, "Well, there are a lot
Oh,
of clean writers on Substack, so you
yeah.
should go play with them and you should enjoy it. And I don't begrudge you one bit if you don't like it, but I'm not going to change for anyone, let alone
Yeah.
you, unknown person."
And that kind of permission and that kind of like self-embrace is 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 truly, I mean, it's something that I think a lot of women experience when they reach midlife, but I feel like when you end up with a chronic illness, that only it ups the ante because you don't have the energy, first of all. Like
Oh,
we talked, I think you had a different term the chronic illness community calls it spoons. We only have so many spoons in a day.
yeah,
But it's you just don't have that same kind of level of energy or tolerance. And you realized that after your last breakup in 2022, you realized that there had never been a better partnership than as being single. So your single life is good, is wonderful.
fantastic. I
My mom,
mean,
wherever she is, she's clapping her hands too because she would agree. Never been a relationship as good as being single.
oh,
That said, you have love thugs. So tell me about your love thugs.
the love thugs came from a fantastic writer on Substack named Wendy Wolf, and she's a lovely artist as well, a painter, and multi-talented, fabulous person. And she wrote me a card during my, brain surgery recovery period that was signed "Love plus Hugs," and the plus looked like a T, and underneath she wrote, "Well, that looks like love thugs, so I guess it could be either." And
Oh, I
so
love.
and it really did look like love thugs, and so we just became the love thugs. I mean,
And Wendy,
she and my
Wendy's here. She
collection.
just joined, so she's waving hi.
Oh,
Um,
hello.
but
Uh,
okay, yeah. So love thugs is how that's brilliant how that began. But now and then you write every so often. You write about one of your love thugs.
I do. I like to feature people that I will mail a button to anyone. They were given to me by a lovely friend of mine in Seattle named Cynthia Lawless, and I will mail one to anyone who is interested because I just feel. I mean, at first it was sort of like everybody who got me through brain surgery, which was, I mean, I really, I felt actual like light and energy from people who said that they were going to be thinking and praying and all that sort of thing for me. So that is huge. But the Love Thug movement is also just like I don't give a shit anymore, and stop
Mhm.
telling me, what to do, kind of like, I mean, there's a feisty amount of mostly older women that are really like, I had to I had to fight to get, whatever equal rights we almost had, you know, and now we're doing this again? No, you're not gonna tell me to
Mhm.
shut up. You're not gonna tell me to take away my rights. You're like, people who love, will stand up against people who hate, which seems to be obviously, I'm not gonna go on all about that, but, I mean, it's really that simple.
It really is. And we don't wanna get cliche here with the word love, but love is fucking powerful.
It is.
I mean,
It really
it
is.
really, really is, and I even feel it over here on Substack. I mean, the way that we show up
Oh, yeah.
for each other,
Absolutely.
it can come in the form of hugs and thugs and also virtual hugs and thugs, and it is just as real.
And I also feel like it's kind of taking back the word thugs and making it, like, cool, like,
Mhm.
rebellious and
Yeah.
willing, to break laws in the name of love and and
Yeah.
and and loving people and taking care of your neighbor and community.
Oh my god, Eileen, I think you could start a love thug, like, movement. I mean, I'm picturing the pink, the women's march, and the
Oh,
first
yeah.
one, and or the kitty hats. We could start a love thug march around the globe.
I would love it. I have plenty of buttons.
So, okay, I only know this version of Eileen.
Yes.
Back me up. Were you always I mean, so there probably was a very large people-pleasing chapter. Is who
Yeah.
you are in response to who you were.
Yes. I mean, I was a very parentified child. I have an older brother who is developmentally disabled. And so it was my job to take care of everything in the house as far as like either not having needs or just being part of the solution. So,
Mhm,
and that's something I think a lot of people can relate to. But once I got to be on my own, I really just decided I don't want to get married. I don't want to be married to a job. I don't want to do the status quo thing. I don't want to move to the suburbs, and floss my teeth. I don't, I just feel like all of that, I have a very punk rock attitude even still. And so and for years of people saying like what's wrong with you? And I mean now I'm really like no, I don't think I mean
yeah, nothing.
why aren't you getting married? Why aren't you getting married? And then when people started getting divorced, they were like, "Oh, you were smart."
Mhm,
I mean, and that's not for me to say marriage is not for me. And I understand it's lovely for other people, but I have a very non-traditional life.
mhm,
And, I live with 2 housemates who are my chosen family, and we take care of each other much like a marriage. We buy furniture together and we make decisions that are monumental together. And, that's it's not it feels so much better to me than other arrangements that I've had.
yeah. Well, the cultural conditioning wants one story. It
Yeah.
wants us to subscribe to that one. I also wasn't in fact, I've been writing a piece this week, in defense of empty wombs, and I never had my own child. In fact and I call my husband my husband. We only got married 2 years ago. We've been together for 20 years, and he asked me 2 years ago, "What do you wanna do for your birthday?" And I said, "Let's go to the courthouse and get married." And it was a
Right.
Wednesday, and we went down there, and we did it, and we came back and went to work. It's more of like, this is practical because we're aging kind of thing instead of
Sure.
all of the I never wanted the wedding dress or the babies or the and there has been a lot of pushback around, especially for women, I think, around not choosing to have children and what sort of that connotes in our culture. And so how did you was there a moment? Because I know you wrote something recently with your mother that is you have a challenging relationship with your mother.
Yes.
And how did you start to tune out some of that cultural conditioning?
Um, really, a lot of it had to do with the Parkinson's. I mean,
Mm,
because I couldn't take care of other people when I couldn't take care of myself. I mean, I had to have so much help doing things, doing my work schedule, doing, cooking, cleaning, there's been so much of this past couple of years that I've really relied on them to, and my community of people that are my friends, not only my housemates, but just, my sphere around there, to just pitch in and do things that I didn't have the energy to do. And
Yeah.
even still, I mean, I have to do things that involve screens in the morning when my brain is very fresh. And I mean, so I've never been able since then to look at someone like my mom and be like, "Oh, I have extra to take care of you."
Yeah.
I can't. I mean,
Yeah.
and that even just to the point of like even just playing nice and going along with things, I mean,
Yeah.
just to be, she's the only person in my life that I'm not really completely genuine with. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
And that's okay because that's a boundary that sometimes you just have to draw that boundary and let it be what it is. It doesn't have to be more. But you had a lot of people show up when you got to that place of vulnerability. I know you said at one point you were just like, I think this was before the brain surgery. You said, I need a hug. So
Yeah.
you got on a plane and saw our sweet man Pepper
Yeah.
and got a hug.
I did. I did right before I went on medical leave. And yeah, no, that was an epic story that we both wrote our sides of, and it was more than a joy to see her in real life. And I plan to do so pretty soon again
Yeah.
because we have a new venture. I'm sure you talked about it a little bit with her.
Yeah. Okay.
Uh,
Let's, for those that don't know about it, tell us about your new venture because this is
uh,
just a continuation of the salty, badass, quirky awesomeness that you and Nan are bringing into the world.
yes, it is a new Substack called Wham Bam Thank You Slam. It is a story slam, and the stories must be by women or people who identify as women or non-binary folks. Basically, if you identify as a dude, you're in the audience, and we would love your support. But otherwise, we want you to tell a story. We are open to all types of people who identify as women or non-binary, etc. And Nan really talked a lot about inclusivity in our last Wham Bam post, in case there
Mhm.
are any questions that way. But the stories have to be 4 minutes. It's competitive. It's going to be hosted on Substack, but it will take place on Zoom. And winner takes $100. And so, I mean, and I think it's sort of our FU to like the, "Hey, women, be seen and not heard, be trad wives, be nice, put on that
Mhm.
apron and go make me a martini." We're like, "Hi, no."
Yeah. No. N to
And
the O.
yeah, and
So you're
Nan came up with a lot of great themes that are very, very, uh, women problem centric, should we
well,
say.
so tell us about the first one is in January.
Is My Body, My Rules.
Mm,
And, it is completely booked up with some amazing people, who will be revealed down the road, but I can assure you that they are heavy hitters.
wow. That's
Yeah.
so exciting. And are you and Nan ever going to join? Because I want to hear, I mean, I would love to hear you guys, or is it just too much facilitation behind the scenes that you can't tell your stories?
We have actually been doing it, we just started. So,
Mhm.
we've been doing little 4-minute-ish stories, in the posts just leading up, and we will be doing stories. We won't be competing in this slam, but we
Okay.
will be doing stories of our own as well, just to continue to model sort of the idea of what we're looking for.
Yeah. So, in this theme, if you were to tell your 4-minute story with My Body, My Life, where would you go?
Wow, that's a good question. I didn't really thought about it,
You don't have
but
to tell the 4-minute story, but I'm just
yeah,
curious if
well,
anything.
It's interesting because I have such a new and different relationship with my body, because
Mm,
the deep brain stimulation did not take me back to where I was before I had Parkinson's, obviously, because I'm an older person and also my body has been ravaged by a disease. So, I mean, I have kind of a new normal,
mhm.
but the new normal involves, my right foot will tell me it will seize up when it feels danger. When I was trying to get you on when I was trying to accept your live invitation, my right foot just clamped up and went like, "We're stressed out right now," but that's okay. And,
Mm.
my right arm doesn't really do as much as it used to, and my right eye, I was doing some exercises yesterday at the kinesiologist, and my right eye just decides to do whatever. But I also feel, um, like those are kind of good things. Like,
Mm.
I d I
How so?
I don't have the ability to be like, "Oh, just push it through." Just like, you know, pedal to the metal, just, make it
Mhm.
work, whatever. I just don't. I have to really baby myself, and when those things make themselves clear to me, then I stop, you know? I mean,
Yeah,
they told
take a
me
deep
once I
breath.
got out of surgery, they're like, "Oh, if you do anything that causes you to have a headache, stop doing it." And I'm like, "Well, I'm gonna take that as advice for life." You know? If
Yeah, and that I love that, Nan. I cannot believe I keep wanting to call you Nan. I'm
I
so sorry.
the joke's on you, we're
Eileen.
really the same person. You never see me drinking water when she's talking, I'm just
I knew it. I knew there was something going on here. But I now what was I saying? I don't even remember what I was saying. But I
uh,
think that I don't
I
remember.
don't
Nan,
go ahead.
Nan,
Damn it, man.
you screwed us up, Nan. It's all your fault.
Really true. Oh, we were talking about, not being able to push tolerance, like, and
Oh, yeah.
babying
Yeah, there
yourself.
is the the these are lessons for life. And I think that even some of the work that I've done with the chronic illness community, people are like, "Oh, I don't need to watch that. I don't have a chronic illness." And then when I just nudge them a little bit, just watch this 8-minute episode, they walk away going, "Oh, those are
Yeah.
lessons for life." These we are getting a sort of a condensed fast track lesson, these things that we can't avoid, where if a lot of people decide, oh, I don't really need to slow down right now, or I really don't need to have self-compassion right now, or I'll put that off for later, that sounds nice. We have to do it. It's necessary for our survival. And so I found myself thinking, how do we get these voices out there in the world more? Because these are the teachers. These are the
Yes.
teachers, and it's not just for people living with chronic illness.
No. I
Yeah.
mean, I find the normie people always ask me, like, "How do you get it?" Because they don't wanna whatever it is, they don't wanna get it. So and then, they're sort of the, "Why did that happen to you?" And the,
Mhm.
like, where we wanna quantify, we wanna understand. I know some of this was very prevalent in your talk with Natalie Mead of Oops, My Brain, where it's just like, we need to know why so it can never ever happen to us, and it's just like,
Mhm.
guess what? Something's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, and even if it's not in this version, it's gonna be another version, or it's just gonna be death itself, or it's gonna be aging, but we all have to deal with our fragility, our
Most definitely.
softness, our vulnerability, all I mean, even I want to believe that the the big thugs in our government have moments in the middle of the night where they feel vulnerable. I don't know. Do you think? Maybe they don't. Maybe they're just so mm,
I hope
soulless.
so. That would give me a smidgen of hope if they had
Mhm.
some sort of conscience.
Mhm.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what any of them do in the middle of the night, and I really probably
Maybe
don't wanna think about
maybe we don't want to think about that.
exactly.
So when people come to you and say, how do I avoid getting this? What do you say?
Well, it's not contagious. Uh, well, also, I really encourage people to watch the Michael J. Fox documentary Still,
Mhm.
which I was thinking about when you were just talking about other people's reactions to things because I've watched it 5 times now, and I get something new out of it every time, and he's
Mm.
really like the Parkinson's, you know, demigod. I mean, he's such an amazing person, but and so optimistic and so positive, but, And people often tell me, "Oh, I didn't wanna watch it because it seemed too sad."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Well, first of all, it's not sad. I mean, has a great family life. He has a great, working life. He has great attitude on everything. But also, like, you can't be sad for an hour and a half when I have this for the rest of my life, even if it was
Mhm.
sad. I mean, like, let's try to experience things and put ourselves in other people's shoes so that we can, like, understand what they might need."
Yeah. Yeah. Let's be human together instead of
Yeah.
siloing ourselves and going, "This is your problem, not my problem."
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. What tell me something that you feel you've watched it 5 times, something you've taken away from it that you feel like you just, carry with you? I know you probably
Mhm.
many things, but is there one thing in particular that
I wrote about this, I think, I don't know, the last time I watched it, but he has a physical therapist that comes to his house, and every time he does an exercise with him, he's always just like, when Michael, like, loses his footing or can't do the exercise, and he always says, "Stop and reset, stop
Mm,
and reset." Like, and he says it to him, as many times as he needs to do it, and it's not emotional, it's just a very gentle reminder, like, just stop and reset.
yeah,
And you
yeah,
do have to really kind of, be conscious of what's going around you all the time and just remind yourself, like, you're part of the world and not just this one organism listening to just, whatever you find to be enraging on Fox News or, I mean, just no, people just don't really have that much, uh, I don't know the word I'm thinking of, but just
yeah. I love that though. It's I think when we stop and reset, we're so consumed right now with so many distractions. We have, like you wrote about, everyone's got devices in their hands. We
yeah,
forget. It doesn't take my our senses know that we are connected. I mean, our eyes, our ears, our noses, our hands know connection. It's our minds that forget because we get caught
yeah,
up in our own little personal loops. So it's that stop and reset to me is a wonderful thing to think about when it's like, okay, put the phone down, look out the window, connect with who you are, be in the present moment.
touch the
All-
grass, man, as the
Touch
kids
the
say.
grass, man. Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
no, it really is true. I mean, because I
mhm.
see people on airplanes all day long that just are so zoned out, and I don't blame them. I mean, that's a good place to
Mhm.
zone out, but the fact that you should be conscious of what's going on around you in any kind of situation that you're in public. I mean, you don't have to be ultra vigilant, but you need to, like, sort of exercise your I'm not saying anyone needs to do anything, that's probably bad verbiage, but it's kind to get somebody's bag out of the bin if you can get it and you see they're struggling, or if can pass their coffee on without, spilling it on you. I mean, just
And
little
that could
niceties.
save somebody's day. That could save I mean, you never know what people
Absolutely.
are going through.
Absolutely.
So I go back to this word, the phrase creative rebellion, because I really feel like that's something that Parkinson's ignited in you. And I think you had that sassiness maybe before, but I like you said, it there was an urgency to that
Mhm.
creative rebellion. So I want to end with just something you talked about where you said, I moved from a team take care to team I love you. Tell me what you mean by that, because I feel like that's a big there I mean, we often say, "Take care."
Yeah.
So tell me who this how that lives in you now as in Team I Love You.
It came actually from a Mike Birbiglia, show where he says I know he's the best. He is absolutely the best. But he said, "Oh, my family didn't say I love you. We were more of a take care kind of a family. So whenever anyone says take care to me, I always just laugh."
Mhm.
But I was never raised in a I love you kind of situation or a huggy, you know, we're Pacific Northwesterners. I know you're out in Oregon, but there's especially in Seattle, there's kind of like a standoff, there can be like a very just sort of a cold interface. Um, and that's okay. If Yeah, it's very civilized. Nobody wants to be touched without consent or anything like that. But as I grew older and as, especially when things got to be dire and then I had the surgery and I had sort of a new lease on life, I really just started telling people I love them all the time. And you
Wow.
know what? I mean, if anybody leaves this earth, it's not going to be they won't question whether I love them or not. I mean,
Mhm.
and that makes a big difference. I mean, I had a friend die unexpectedly a handful of years ago, and I'm like, he knew that I loved him, and that was
Mhm.
the most important thing for me to like be able to have closure. Yeah,
Wow. I love that. I love that you say, "I love you."
yeah, doesn't
And
cost
it
anything.
doesn't cost anything, and it might make somebody uncomfortable for a moment, but you know what? It might also plant a seed for them to go, "Yeah, that feels good."
My
So
kinesiologist told me she loved me yesterday in the middle of the session, and I was just like, "I love you too." I mean, but this is a woman that would come to my house and work on me after I had surgery and stuff. I mean, she's like, those are the kind of people I want in my life,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
They're out there.
They are out there. Eileen, thank you for this incredible wisdom, for sharing, opening up your story to us. It's not a journey, it's just pure you. It's the brilliant, radiant you that you are, and I'm just happy you're in my life because I feel like I'm only just getting to know you now,
I
like
know,
just
it's
little
exciting,
bits and
right?
pieces. So, this is a to be continued.
Okay, I love that. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I so appreciate it, Kimberly. You're such a delight.
Thank you, Eileen. Well,
Okay,
bye,
talk
everyone.
later. Bye.